Jaylen Brown signed a hefty contract extension with the Boston Celtics this offseason, and some fans weren't that high on that signing, while some fans were very confident in Jaylen Brown this season, and he's been proven to be a dominant superstar for this Boston Celtics team. We'll be looking at a key stat that shows how Jaylen Brown has been impactful with this team and how he is leading that statistic. We'll also be looking at Jaylen Brown's availability and how impactful he's truly been for this Boston Celtics team this year, and also looking at some comments by Jaylen Brown ahead of the game versus the Memphis Grizzlies about Marcus Smart. All that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. But before we get into any Boston Celtics news, I would like to say that roughly right around 79% of you guys that watch our videos are not subscribed. And we'd greatly appreciate it if you guys hit that big old red subscribe button and join the Celtics Digest family. We just recently got to 2,200 subscribers. We can't thank everyone enough that's already hit that subscribe button. But if you guys want to make sure you guys stay up to date on everything Boston Celtics, news, trades, everything like that, we'll have a post-game live stream as well tonight, breaking down the Memphis Grizzlies versus Boston Celtics game. So if you guys have any questions about the game or the team, make sure to join that and we'll discuss some Boston Celtics. But let's get into the video at hand. So make sure to grab a snack, get ready, as this is going to be a fantastic and jam-packed episode. First, we'll be talking about how Jaylen Brown speaks up on his relationship with Marcus Smart. As you guys know, the Boston Celtics will be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies tonight in Memphis. Unfortunately, there will be no Marcus Smart as he now has an ankle injury and will be out 3 to 5 weeks. So it is very sad that the Celtics will not get to play against Marcus Smart and get to see him. But they'll obviously will see him on the bench, get to have their little reunion. And I'm sure that will be something fantastic to watch and something that I'll be paying attention to. But we have some quotes here from Bobby Manning where he asked Jaylen Brown about his highs and lows, and he's mentioned in his relationship with Marcus Smart, and he said he couldn't stand Marcus at first, and I love him now, and it bees like that sometimes. So he called Marcus last night while the Grizzlies were in San Antonio, because the Grizzlies were playing San Antonio last night, got the dub, and now are playing the back-to-back versus the Celtics tonight. Bobby Manning also furthered up that question by asking Jaylen Brown, why did Brown not like Smart at first? And he said a plethora of reasons, you name it. But over time, I realized me and Marcus have similar spirits, and if I was going to war with anyone, Marcus would be one of my first phone calls. And that's great to hear. Obviously, it seems that Marcus Smart was a vocal piece in the locker room, was a very vocal Boston Celtic, and as we know, Jaylen Brown isn't that vocal, so that is definitely why Jaylen Brown probably realized him and Marcus wouldn't get along in the beginning, but ultimately, Jaylen Brown opened up to Marcus Smart, they found out some similarities, and they became boys, and it's great to see that they're going to still continue to keep that relationship, and Jaylen Brown still values Marcus Smart as one of his friends. Obviously, we see a lot of trades in recent years. We've seen Grant Williams go. We've seen Robert Williams go. Brogdon had a short stint, and now Marcus Smart. All great guys that had great relationships with the Boston Celtics. And in recent videos we've talked about when they've gotten hurt, we've had clips and quotes of how some of our players have spoken up about them. And that's great to hear that they still care about these guys and they still want them to be successful in the NBA. But let's look at some more news, looking at if Jaylen Brown will be back tonight in this game versus the Memphis Grizzlies. If you guys do not know, Jaylen Brown had some concerns about the in-season tournament court on Friday night's game versus the Raptors. He said it was very, very slippery, and he strained his groin late in the game, slipping on the court. He said this is the injury report for the game, with Jaylen Brown being the only one being questionable with a right adductor strain. And we have a tweet from John Corrales pre-game that says that Jaylen Brown says his injury isn't too serious, but he's experiencing some soreness in the strained groin. He's going to go through shoot around right now, and he says he'll surely see how it feels, and that will prepare him for the game tonight. Ultimately, Jaylen Brown has been a killer for the Boston Celtics if we look at his stats. He's averaging 22.9 points, 5 total rebounds, and 3.3 assists off of 47.2% shooting, 37.8 3% shooting, and 73% shooting from free throw, ultimately being a dog for the Boston Celtics and truly being their second star and being a great piece if he's cooking on offense, attacking the rim like he has done in recent games, like versus the Sixers, versus the Raptors, versus the Timberwolves. He will be a great addition to the Celtics, as the Celtics have been realistically looking at threes more from some guys like Tatum and from guys like Derrick White and Sam Hauser. They've been prioritizing the three, so having Jaylen Brown attack the rim is a great thing for the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown has also been very dominant on the defensive side of the floor, as we saw he was guarding Pascal Siakam in the Toronto game, and if he's not doing great on offense, he is definitely clamping up on defense and being a true stopper for this Boston Celtics team. I don't want to hear any more Jaylen Brown hate. When Jaylen Brown has these great games like he did, being the leading scorer, player of the game versus Toronto, you hear nothing about him. But when he has a bad performance, everyone likes to speak up. We need to keep that Jaylen Brown hate out of everyone's mouth. Jaylen Brown is a terrific player for the Boston Celtics, and he's been dominant for this team so far. Ultimately, though, versus a weak Memphis Grizzlies team, he might want to sit out and be sidelined to not injure himself. He might want to take the safer route. But if it isn't that big of a deal and it is only a little bit of soreness, he might just give it a go. And if the Celtics take a big lead, take a nice sit in the second half. We'll have to wait and see on Jaylen Brown's status at the pregame. But let's look at the last news at hand, which is talking about how Jaylen Brown has been dominant in the pick and roll. And we have a big statistic to show you guys here talking about that from Coast to Coast NBA. There, they tweeted out best and worst pick and roll ball handlers, including passes, and they had a list here. And if you guys can see, Tyrese Halliburton leading the league, not shocked. He's a great pick and roll player. Cam Thomas, but as you see at number 3, Jaylen Brown is there among other names as Emmanuel Quickley, Paul George, Devin Booker, Tyus Jones, Jordan Clarkson, De'Aaron Fox, and Jamal Murray. All top guards in the NBA, and Jaylen Brown is with them. Now you may be asking why Jaylen Brown has been able to succeed so gratefully in the pick and roll, and as I just mentioned, he attacks the rim with ease and is one of the Boston Celtics that always attacks the rim on offense. But adding the addition of Kristaps Porzingis for this pick and roll has been very, very helpful for Jaylen Brown. It's allowed him to slow the game down more and be able to attack the rim at the pick and roll a lot easier, having that big man alongside of him. As you guys have known, Jaylen Brown has gotten a lot of hate about passing, a lot about his dribbling moves, and a lot about his pick and roll usage. But his pick and roll has been up, and it's definitely with the help of his teammate Kristaps Porzingis. We've already seen them gel a great chemistry off the court, talking about how they used to wink at each other, they take rides together to the same games, they live in the same building. But if they can use that off-court chemistry to combine with their on-court chemistry, I think it will be very, very successful for this Boston Celtics team and very, very successful for this duo tandem of Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown. We've already seen Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis talking about using the pick and roll and how utilizing each other to their best ability. I definitely expect Jaylen Brown to get that communication up with Kristaps Porzingis as well, and it should be a very, very impactful piece for Jaylen Brown's game, and he should continue to be a top guy in the pick and roll metrics. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think Jaylen Brown should suit up for this Memphis Grizzlies game tonight, or do you guys think Jaylen Brown should take a back rest? I don't want to hear any more Jaylen Brown hate, though, on Jaylen Brown the rest of the season. I want to see him get the praise that he deserves when he performs great, and for the fans to realize he is a great impactful piece for this Boston Celtics team. But that's what we're going to talk about for this episode, guys. Shout out to everyone that tuned in. If you guys are still at this point in the video and still aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we post Celtics content almost daily, and we know you guys are interested. Like I said, we will have this post-game live stream following the Memphis Grizzlies versus Boston Celtics game, so if that interests you as well, make sure to tune into that. I'm Bruce Velez, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.